Good morning. Start your day informed and ahead. Today is Thursday, the 4th of June. I'm Angela Lagunsad Castro.
And I'm Cheska Lituncala. We are bringing you the perfect mix of the headlines you need and the conversations that shape your day.
From the news desk to the digital space, we have got you covered. I'm Pauline Verzosa, and welcome to Morning Matters. Alright, so one more day, weekend na. Pero marami pang pwede mangyari.
Okay, so many things happened yesterday. I'm assuming many more things are going to happen today.
That's when
we
you
are
thought
waiting.
that the Senate has reached its climax. Hindi pa pala, may mga plot twist pa tayo. At pag-uusapan natin yan this morning. Now, let's begin with the question, who holds the majority now? As we know, the numbers have shifted at the Senate. After Senator Chis Escudero entered the plenary hall, the bloc pushing for a reorganization reached 12 members. They now call themselves the new majority. They declared that the session had a quorum based on 22 senators, with Senators Bato de la Rosa and Jinggoy Estrada considered outside the coercive power of the Senate. On Senator Tito Soto's motion, all elected positions in the Senate were declared vacant. Senator Win Gatchalian was then elected Senate President pro tempore, but the bloc still could not elect a new Senate President because 13 votes are needed for that. So for now, the 12-member bloc holds control of the floor, but the Senate presidency remains vacant. The bloc insists Alan Peter Cayetano is no longer Senate President. Cayetano's camp, however, continues to question the legality of the session. And I remember
the Senate has been adjourned and unable to resume session for the past 2 days, placing us on the brink of constitutional violation had we not convened today. In the absence of a duly consulted postponement and the continued absence of the former Senate President pro tempore, and members of the majority, we are compelled to call the session to order.
Ang nakalagay sa konstitusyon ng Pilipinas, pwedeng mag-conduct ng business ang Senado by a majority of all its members. Ang majority po ng 24 ay 13 po. So paano po nila alisin si Senator Loren Legarda kung 12 lang po sila? At mapapakita po sa inyo na gusto nilang i-control ang premises ng Senado. So 12 pa rin po ngayon ay pang-11 pa rin po. Dahil sa ating konstitusyon, sa ating rules of the Senate, kailangan pong 13.
All right, so I remember yesterday we were talking to Senator Dick Gordon, kami ni Pawi, and he kind of mentioned about this, yung sinasabi namin, what makes a majority? And he said, under the Constitution, 2/3 is fixed.
Yes.
No? But the members or the numbers of the senators, yan ang flexible.
Yes.
So ngayon, nakita tayo, nagkaroon tayo tuloy ng knowledge about Senate math. Diba? So ngayon, yung is 22, ano ba yung
divided by
2/3 ng
plus
2/3, diba
Yes.
yung ganon?
And then, of course, they also cited Avellino versus Cuenco from 1949. So, history lesson.
Oo, as president.
Because then
oo.
Senate President Avellino walked out with his allies after yung integrity nila was...
Oo, kasi para magkakaroon daw ng privilege speech si
Yes.
Lorenzo Tañada at that time, alleging the corruption, etc. So parang they wanted to cut or stop that speech para hindi matuloy.
So there is basis. No?
There
There is
is legal
basis
basis.
for the new majority bloc, the majority of acting Senate President Sherwin Gatchalian, to form a quorum because nga it is based, they have jurisprudence or basing it on that Avellino Cuenco case in
Cuenco,
1949. But we're gonna have to wait and see if the new minority or the camp of Senator Cayetano will elevate this to the Supreme Court.
Exactly.
No,
Oo.
that might be a legal remedy for them. But at the same time, it's also interesting to see if the Supreme Court will see this as a political issue kasi there's still separation of powers,
Yes.
right? Between the legislative, executive, and the
Oo,
judiciary.
baka sabihin nila there's a judicial reach. Actually,
Yes.
we talked about it with Senator Drilon kanina sa Good Morning Kapatid. At nasa Supreme Court yun kung sila ay makikialam o hindi. But on the other side of the fence, syempre all sides all the time tayo, di ba? So ang sinasabi nung kabila tungkol dito sa Avellino versus Cuenco,
Yes.
sinasabi nila, this is a poor precedent, no? Because sabi nila at that time, 'di ba, when Avellino faction walked out, there was an ongoing session. As compared yesterday,
Na
there
adjourned.
wasn't.
Yeah.
There was a refusal to show up by the faction of sila Senator Cayetano. So sinasabi nila, and at that time also, there was no legal or date fixed na calendar na kailangan sundan. And today or yesterday, kasi diba sine die. So yun yung kanilang mga argumento naman. So talagang labanan ito ng paano mo ba i-interpret yung batas. And tayo naman dito, we will just wait, diba, kung ano yung mangyayari. Pero as much as possible, we want, diba, people or our lawmakers to do their job.
Because even the staff of the Senate, they get affected, right? Yesterday, before they held session, the Senate Secretary refused to do a roll call because para sa kanya, the Senate President is still
Yes.
Alan Peter Cayetano. That's why Senator Gatchalian tapped the Deputy Secretary to do the roll call, and that's why they were able to hold session yesterday.
And they were able to change the chairs
of the
Oo,
committees.
oo, oo. Kaya nga parang it makes sense na yung sinasabi nila na pwedeng si Senator Win Gatchalian talaga ngayon yung acting Senate President because yesterday's session was declared all position vacant. Hindi lang sila makapag-elect because there's no 13 votes.
Correct.
So yun yung nakikita nilang mga 'di ba, Ang tanong din dito mamaya, because during the live of Senator Alan Peter Cayetano, sinasabi niya, hindi, tutuloy ko yung
Tutuloy
Senate
yung
Blue
Blue
Ribbon
Ribbon,
Committee
yes.
hearing. So ngayon, syempre, ang mga tao doon, paano? 'Di ba? Parang gusto...
Because for the new majority, sa kanila, ang Blue Ribbon hearing mangyayari sa Monday.
Monday naman.
So now you have
sa
two
faction,
hearings.
Diba? Ano yung sabi mo kanina? Blue Ribbon 1. Ito pala yung sabi mo.
BRC 1 and BRC 2.
On the red corner.
So, sino?
Pero sino yung 1 and 2?
Sino
Baka
yung 1 and
pangawayan
2?
din nila yan.
No, because yun na nga, yesterday also, Senator Erwin held a press conference because, and then he said that he is the new Blue Ribbon Committee chair. And they moved it to Monday because they also need to review the resource persons.
Yeah.
So, kailangan daw paghandaan din.
No, I was wondering also, no, so parang, so what did para yung perspective ng natin pantay, 'di ba? So ano yung ginawa, what did the Tito Soto's faction do yesterday, or what did they achieve yesterday na hindi nila magagawa if they didn't do what they did yesterday, gets mo? Pero kasi ang sinasabi nga nila, under the magiging unconstitutional na kung hindi pa sila mag-session yesterday.
For 3 days, di ba?
Yes.
Parang violation na yun
But
eh.
also interesting, yung minention ni Senator Erwin, all the minority and the new minority and the new majority will all be members of the Blue Ribbon Committee para daw wala na masabi na may hocus-pocus.
Lahat sila pwede magtanong, ganun.
Oh.
So marami pa tayong aabangan today, no? But here's another issue that we need to talk about. The Sandigan Bayan has denied former Speaker Martin Romualdez's request to lift the precautionary hold departure order issued against him. In a resolution, the court's 7th Division said several circumstances suggest a possible intent to evade arrest and prosecution. Among the factors cited were Romualdez's failure to submit medical documents to justify his planned trip abroad, as well as the lack of a detailed travel itinerary. The travel ban stems from an ombudsman investigation into his alleged involvement in the flood control scandal. All right, so a precautionary hold departure order is still different from an HDO, diba? So there's that precautionary aspect because the Sandigan Bayan, the court found probable cause or there might be intent for the accused, in this case, former Speaker Romualdez, to flee. At
Parang
this
they're
stage
still
then,
investigating,
oo,
no?
pero malinaw naman, it's clear that they didn't find former Speaker Romualdez guilty yet. This is just a precautionary.
It's not a verdict.
Yes.
But yun na nga, they also cited, the court cited, he failed to present medical records, medical abstracts, confirmed consultation schedule with a physician in Singapore. So maraming detalye na kailangan i-present.
But of course, people are wondering, I am wondering, and I'm sure you guys are still wondering also, na if former Speaker Martin Romualdez is the supposed big fish na sinasabi ng ombudsman that they're going to file the case today. Diba?
Because he
So
is-
yan, naabangan natin
Oo.
yan.
They say he's the alleged mastermind,
Yes,
diba, of
oo.
everything. Alam naman natin, he was the speaker when
Yeah.
the budget insertions allegedly happened in the 2025 national budget. So the question is, can Speaker Romualdez still travel? Kasi precautionary lang naman ito, no? So the answer there is not freely. He still needs to seek the permission of Sandigan Bayan and he has to seek their approval
Yeah.
before traveling.
So, syempre, sinasabi natin na, of course, no one is above the law, di ba? If this is the process that he needs to go through, then he has to
He
go
has to go
through with
through
it, di ba?
Si Ombudsman Remulla ba yung nagsabi na pwede naman siya tumingin sa mga doktor dito?
Yes, because
Okay.
may
Lots of
angioplasty daw sa
experts
procedure
here.
sa Singapore.
Yun then, it was also stated na no urgency was shown, no evidence was presented, the treatment abroad was necessary or unavailable in the Philippines.
Oh, yun. Yeah, that's right.
But of course, the speaker himself continues to deny his involvement in the allegation against him in the flood control scheme. Pero ang sinasabi, I remember Assistant Ombudsman Miko Clavano said na they're talking about command responsibility. Even though he is not a member of the BICAM committee,
committee.
no, it is his responsibility to overlook the budget in the 2025. So sinasabi nga nila, they describe the case of former Speaker Martin Romualdez as the grand conspiracy to
Yeah.
defraud the country. So mabigat din yun, di ba? Pero ang sinasabi naman ng kampo ni former speaker, parang hindi mo naman pwedeng sabihin sa akin yung command responsibility, pang executive branch yan. No? Pero syempre, kanya-kanyang depensa naman yun sa sarili nila. And we will see what's going to happen. Who else are gonna be in this mess, di ba? Okay.
Alright.
Oo, 'di ba? Kasi talagang nakaabang tayo dahil magbabagyo na naman.
Yes.
Speaking of bagyo.
Speaking of bagyo, from the stormy political scene, we now turn to the weather. Rains are expected over parts of Luzon as the southwest monsoon or habagat continues to affect the country. Pag-asa says occasional rains may hit Pangasinan, Zambales, Bataan, Tarlac, and Pampanga on Thursday. Cloudy skies with scattered rains and thunderstorms are also expected over Metro Manila, Cagayan Valley, Cordillera, Calabarzon, Mimaropa, the rest of Ilocos region, and Central Luzon. The rest of the country may experience partly cloudy to cloudy skies with isolated rain showers due to localized thunderstorms. Pag-asa advises the public to stay alert for possible flash floods and landslides during heavy rains. Okay, here we go again. We go through this every year. So at this point, you would think that we would be better prepared.
Hopefully.
I hope so.
Yeah, last year was a stark reminder of what we still lack, right? When it comes to flood control projects, they were obviously substandard. Some of them were even ghost, and that's why lives were lost. So, and I mentioned last Monday, right? There is no new budget for any flood control projects this time because the president said that the DPWH should use the budget that was left from last year to continue these projects. But one silver lining for me is that Project NOAA their budget has been reinstalled, and so this will alert citizens ahead of any possible disasters. I know they've incorporated a lot of new technologies especially in early warning systems. So hopefully that can help Filipinos prepare.
Yeah,
for
because if you can
disasters.
remember, during the Aquino administration, this project, NOAA project, was launched. But during the time of Duterte administration, they cut off the budget. So walang nangyari doon sa kanilang mga projects. So right now, tulad yung sinabi ni Pawi, meron na silang budget to help, 'di ba, us, no, 'di ba, para ma-navigate natin
Yes.
yung kapag may mga emergency tayo mga kinakailangan. And of course, tulad nga ng sinabi natin din the other day, na hopefully during the time na hindi pa umuulan, our officials are doing something about it, diba? And also the local government officials regarding nga dito sa mga binabahang areas, because yung mga naapektuhan, this isn't just numbers. These are lives that we are talking about.
All right, don't go away. Morning Matters. We'll be back after a short break.
Welcome back. You're still watching Morning Matters here on One News. A dramatic turn at the Senate as Senator Cheese Escudero's surprise appearance gave the anti-Cayetano bloc enough numbers to resume session. Mobile journalist Daniel Diao has this report.
For a third consecutive day, Senate President Alan Peter Cayetano and his majority bloc were still a no-show in plenary session. But the minority bloc did not wait in vain this time around. At around 3:20 p.m. on Wednesday, June 3rd, Majority Member Senator Cheese Escudero suddenly turned up. His visibly surprised colleagues warmly greeted the former Senate President to the floor, shook hands with him, even embraced him, amid rousing applause all around. At that point, Senator Win Gatchalian immediately went to the rostrum and signaled the resumption of session.
The 69th session of the Senate in the first regular session of the 20th Congress is hereby called to order. Let us pause for a minute of silent prayer.
However, Senate Secretary Jose Luis Montales, a known ally of still absent SP Alan Peter Cayetano, declined to do the roll call, so the Deputy Senate Secretary took charge.
With 12 senators present, the chair declares a quorum.
Senator Tito Soto then declared all posts vacant, a move that got unanimous approval. Senators proceeded to elect Gatchalian Senate President pro tempore. As the most senior among senators present, Soto administered the oath to Gatchalian. From here, senators reinstated Attorney Ray Bantug as Senate Secretary, while Police Major General Alfredo Soto Corpuz is appointed new Senate Sergeant-at-Arms. Then, new committee chairpersons were introduced. Soto for the National Defense Committee, replacing Senator Jinggoy Estrada. Senator Erwin Tulfo for the powerful Blue Ribbon Committee, Vice Senator Pia Cayetano. Senator Raffy Tulfo is back as Public Services Committee Chair, in place of Senator Rodante Marcoleta, while Senator Bam Aquino also regained the Basic Education Committee from Senator Loren Legarda. Senator Risa Ontiveros is head again of the Health Committee, earlier assigned to Senator Bongo, while Zaviri replaced Senator Amy Marcos as Foreign Relations Committee Chair. Senator J.V. Ejercito is now at the helm of the Committee on Finance, Vice Senator Mark Villar. And Senator Lito Lapid takes the Game and Amusement Committee from Senator Jinggoy Estrada. Senator Ping Lacson is back as Public Order and Dangerous Drugs Committee Chair, which had been given the still missing and ICC wanted Senator Bato de la Rosa. Lacson is also chairperson of the Committee on Accounts, while Senator Erwin Tulfo is back at the Social Justice, Welfare and Rural Development Committee. Senator Kiko Pangilinan also got back the Committee on Agriculture, Food and Agrarian Reform. Senator Cheese Escudero is retained as Committee Chair on Urban Planning, Housing and Resettlement, and Subiri, the Committee on Rules. Before the session adjourned, Senate President pro tempore and acting SP Win Gatchalian explained that they had to convene the session today. That's because 3 days of no session without the consent of the lower house will be considered a constitutional offense. Senator Erwin Tulfo, the new majority spokesperson, agrees that because Senator Bato de la Rosa went in hiding and Senator Jinggoy Estrada is in jail, it can only be considered that there are only 22 senators. Thus, 12 constituted a quorum.
Ngayon, meron tayong functioning Senate na. Ang gusto namin, bumalik na sa trabaho. Hindi tayo pwedeng ganito for the rest of our lives. Ang dami nakabindi na legislation. So, kailangan magtrabaho.
Meantime, the 12th Senator Escudero said in a statement that his attendance today isn't about a political change of heart. He just believes they cannot remain in a situation where their ability to perform their duties is affected. Escudero adds that the current impasse in the Senate now is untenable and unacceptable. He said when political divisions become too extreme and obstruct our mandate, they must all have the courage to pause, gain perspective, reflect, consider, and realize that they should put the institution they serve above themselves. Kapatid Mobile Journal, Daniel Dayaw, we are One News.
And now for more updates from the Senate, let's bring in our mobile journalist, Marymon Reyes. Good morning, Marymon. What's the latest and what can we expect today at the upper chamber?
Good morning, Pauline. There's actually a lot in store and a lot to watch over and seek updates this day. Kasi ang inaabangan natin, supposedly, around 10 a.m., we are anticipating yung Blue Ribbon Committee hearing spearheaded supposedly of the past leadership of SP Alan Peter Cayetano and Senator Pia Cayetano, who formally holds the Senate Blue Ribbon Committee. So, i-reverse ko lang yung camera. Dahil di pa tayo pwede makapasok sa loob. This is the view from the session hall and makikita natin na inaayos nila yung lugar as if may mangyayari nga talaga pagdinig. Sa mga lumipas kasi na Blue Ribbon Committee hearings kapag ginagawa sa session hall, yung tables and chairs ng senators nagkakaroon ng square shape ng pahaba na table, nasa gilid yung mga upuan, well, supposedly for the resource persons and our other guests expected plus yung senators na parte ng committee. Pero we have to take note na kahapon, sinabi rin ni Senator Erwin Tulfo, under the new majority and the current leadership of Senate President Pro Tempore Sherwin Gatchalian, walang pagdinig ng Blue Ribbon Committee ngayon. It will happen Monday, pero may huli rin tayong advisory na nakuha from the Office of Senator Tulfo na may ibang date tayong aantabayanan dahil kailangan pa raw nilang ayusin muna lahat-lahat for the Blue Ribbon hearing. Nag-announce si Senator Cayetano kahapon sa isang live stream once again na maglalabas siya ng notice. At naglabas nga siya ng notice to keep the Senate premises open dahil daw magtutuloy ang mga pagdinig. And as he was saying, functioning SP pa rin daw siya. So marami talaga tayong aabangan. Plus 9 o'clock later, si Pro Tempore Gatchalian, magkakaroon din siya ng press con. So still a lot will unfold and developments will take place in a few hours or so, or maybe in the coming days. Pauline.
Well, last night, Marymon, Senate President Pro Tempore Sherwin Gatchalian also released a memo authorizing Senate offices to shift to a work-from-home setup today on the same day that the Blue Ribbon Committee under the former leadership of Senator Alan Peter Cayetano is supposedly taking place. May mga pumasok ba na staff ng Senate pa rin ngayong araw?
Nakita natin, Pauline, meron sa loob ng session hall na nag-aayos. And they are staff of the Senate, pero hindi pa natin alam kung staff pa to ng certain senators or in general. Kasi yung nilabas naman na advisory din or notice from the end of Senator Cayetano, ini-encourage na or well, tinatawag niya lahat ng mga opisina, especially on the logistics side, na mag-ayos, magprepara, including yung Office of the Sergeant at Arms sa gagawing pagdinig ngayong araw. Kasi kahapon, ang nasabi ni Senator Cayetano, the man of the hour for the supposed Blue Ribbon hearing would be Senator Marcoleta, and may pasabog daw sila this day. Ito raw yung magbibigay ng direction sa investigation of the Blue Ribbon Committee, direction for the country, and direction towards the answers na sinasabi nila, hindi lang daw partial, kundi yung buong katotohanan. Pero for the, nasa second floor kasi tayo, sa third, fourth, fifth, and sixth floor, medyo mahirap kasi ngayon na maglakad at sumilip, so we're yet to really know. Pero for example, dito sa likuran ko, sila ay personnel ng OSAA, doon papunta sa Legacy Wall sa isang hallway ng second floor, may ilang mga staff din tayo nakikita. So, I guess there are two maybe contending advisories or notices from both ends pulling the ties. So baka kung may pagkalito rin on our end, possibly baka may pagkalito rin sa mga personnel ng Senado.
Well, it's very clear, Marymon, that there's a lot of confusion, not just for the Filipinos, but even among reporters on what exactly is happening now at the Senate. But Marymon, walk us back through the events yesterday. Did any of the members of the faction of Senator Tito Soto, Senator Gatchalian, Senator Zubiri, did they know that Senator Cheese Escudero was gonna show up at plenary?
Pauline, Senator Erwin Tulfo mentioned yesterday that he was actually already preparing what to say to the media if Senator Cheese Escudero will not be showing or will not be making an appearance or walang mangyayari sa sesyon kahapon. Kasi may info daw sila nung isang araw na, well, may communication daw na magpapakita nga, pupunta raw si Senator Cheese. Pero kahapon, around 3 p.m., di raw nila nakita. Kaya nagkagulatan daw nung pumasok sa session hall. And I was there during that time, and array of applause were there. Yung pagyakap ng mga senador from the minority bloc, old minority bloc during that time, nakipagkamay sa kanya, niyakap siya, then umupo na siya facing the rostrum, right side na mga upuan. Then everything turned into place. Ang sabi dito ni Senator Kiko Pangilinan, mahaba-haba raw na pag-uusap ang nangyari, pero maganda raw na si Senator Escudero na lang ang magsabi. Pero for now, they feel relieved that there is now a functioning Senate.
All right. Well, thank you very much for that report. That was mobile journalist Marymon Reyes reporting live from the Senate. Now, amid recent changes in the upper chamber, Senate President Alan Peter Cayetano has invited the public to take part in a prayer vigil at the Senate today, June 4th. And for the latest, we now go to our mobile journalist, Ray Vicente. Ray, nagsimula na ba ang prayer vigil dyan sa Senado?
Yes, Pauline, good morning. We're actually also expecting a lot here outside the Senate kasi as you can see sa aking likuran, meron ng ilang mga grupo rito. Actually, isa pa lang, no, yung grupo nandito na nagasagawa nga na kanilang kilos protesta, specifically, kung mapapakita ko lang, yan yung mga anti-Duterte, pati pro-BBM na mga supporters, no. Pero maliban dyan kasi Pauline, hindi pa ito yung, this is different from the prayer vigil nga na hinihikayat ni Senate President Alan Peter Cayetano kahapon sa kanya Facebook Live dahil quote-unquote nga para ipagdasal yung bansa sa naganap nga na Senate shake-up no, sa liderato. So we are expecting three sides na pupunta dito sa labas ng Senado para magsagawa ng prayer vigil, pati nga na kanilang kilos protesta, one from the pro-BBM, anti-Duterte, and if we can pan the camera, doon sa dulo, ayun naman yung mga pro-Duterte supporters naman, no? At mamaya rin mo rin na-expect yung mga progresibong grupo naman na walang pinapanigan, pero yun nga rin yung gusto nilang hinihingi na accountability dahil nga sa nangyayari sa Senado. So dahil nga sa nangyayaring political tension dito sa Senado and outside the Senate, ang nirequest nga ni PNP Chief Nartates na magkaroon ng heightened security sa mga personnel. So hindi lang Southern Police District ang nandito, pero maging National Capital Region ng pulisya, specifically Regional Mobile Force Battalion, para nga magsagawa ng security check-up dito sa labas ng Senado, Pauline.
So Ray, linawin ko lang yung nasa likod mo ay yung pro-BBM anti-Duterte group, but we are expecting different demonstrators outside the Senate today. But for now, thank you very much for that update. That was mobile journalist Ray Vicente. And when we return later at 9:30 a.m., Senator Erwin Tulfo joins us to talk more about the shifting dynamics and the agenda of the new majority.
Good morning, I'm Angela Lagunzad Castro. You are watching Morning Matters here on One News. Senator Erwin Tulfo announced that the Senate Blue Ribbon Committee hearing originally scheduled for Thursday has been moved to June 8. For more updates, we have mobile journalist Merimon Reyes. Merimon, tuloy-tuloy na ba? Sure na ba talaga na ang hearing ay sa June 8?
Angela, kanina lang, katatapos lang yung press con ni Senate President Pro Tempore, Senator Sherwin Gatchalian, at kinonfirm niya na according nga to Senator Tulfo, by Monday next week pa gagawin yung pagdinig ng Blue Ribbon Committee. Pero kasi may isang advisory din na until further notice, pero we're gonna confirm that with Senator Tulfo. Pero kaya ako nandito sa loob ng session hall ay dahil may naging paghahanda pa rin para sa Blue Ribbon Committee hearing na pangungunahan ng Cayetano Block. Supposedly, nung si Senate President Alan Peter Cayetano or Senator Alan Peter Cayetano pa yung nakaupo as SP, may nakaschedule ngayon. Pero kahit nagkaroon ng power shift kahapon, ang huling sinabi ni Senator Cayetano, tuloy ang pagdinig ngayong araw. And ang inaasahan kasi natin 10 a.m. magsisimula dito. Pero ang sinabi naman kanina ni Senator Gatchalian tungkol dyan, walang official hearing ng Blue Ribbon, walang hearing ngayon. Hindi niya raw alam kung bakit may paghahanda na ganito. And while ang Senado ang magsisilbing opisina raw ng mga senador, hindi raw maaaring pumasok ang resource persons. And kung sakali man, pwede naman daw kasi may kailangan na may protocol daw sa mga bisita, sa mga guest. So, kailangan daw nila yung sundin ng maayos. Pero ang nililinaw ni Senator Gatchalian, walang hearing ng Blue Ribbon. Kaya umaabang tayo dito kung may papasok ba ng mga senador. Lalo't nakita na natin sina Senator Cayetano, sina Senator Robin Padilla na nasa may Senator's Lounge lang. Angela.
Pero kung wala ngang magiging pagdinig supposedly today, sino ang nag-ayos o nag-prepare ng plenary hall?
Angela, naglabas kasi kagabi ng notice din itong si Senator Cayetano na ini-instruct niya yung mga ilang personal. Actually, ang inaabang natin dito yung broom. Ito yung staff ng Blue Ribbon kung sila ba'y mag-aayos. Pero so far, wala pa tayong nakahagilap. Pero kanina kasi nung umaga, may nakita na tayong ilang nag-aayos, nagsiset up dito. Kasi dalawa yung isang naging order pa nga from Senator Gatchalian, meron pa nga work from home setup. Pero on the side of Senator Cayetano, magtrabaho, logistics.
Okay. Sige, Merimon, I have to cut you there because we have another guest today. But thank you so much for your time, mobile journalist Merimon Reyes. And as we said, from the Senate shakeup, we now turn to one of its immediate consequences, the Blue Ribbon probe into alleged flood control anomalies, now under a new chairman. With us now is Senator Erwin Tulfo. Good morning, Senator Erwin. Thank you for joining us today.
Angela, good morning, and good morning to all your viewers at this point.
Senator, I know wala pa yata kayong tulog today since yesterday. Pero first and foremost, why did you decide to move the flood control hearing from June 4 to June 8?
Because we have to rearrange the setup of the Blue Ribbon, okay? As a matter of fact, we have already sent the notices and invitations to the other side, to the minority headed by Senator Alan Peter Cayetano, that they are automatically members of the new Blue Ribbon Committee under my chairmanship. All of them. As a matter of fact, even the majority, all of the members of the majority. So the Blue Ribbon now will be composed of 22 senators, not 17. Yun po yung isa. Pangalawa po, the reason why we moved it, of course we have to give them notices. Of course we have to give them who the people or the resource persons, the invited guests, we will be inviting on Monday. We have to notify them na, Senator ganito, ito mga imbitahan natin, okay ba sa'yo? That is the proper way. That is the rules of the Blue Ribbon. Yung sa kanila naman po yung inuna nilang imbis na informing the members, they did not. They immediately send it to the media who will be the guests. Halatang halata po, they're not following the rules. Ano pong objective nila? Objective nila para makita ng tao, the 18 Marines will be invited. So if the next Blue Ribbon, they're already anticipating na kung may take over, then mapapahiya pag hindi inimbitahan. Sabi ko nga po yesterday, Angela, we will invite them whom they want to invite. But sabihin ko, there's a rule, okay? We have to screen who these people are. Kagaya po doon, mayroong alias. How can you send an invitation to an alias when there's no address?
Right.
Baka naman matulad po tayo kay Guteza na who just popped up, surprise witness, now we can't locate him.
But Senator, according to our reporter earlier, doon sa Senate ngayon, ay may nakahanda na po yung area kung saan pinagdadausan ng mga Blue Ribbon Committee. So, we all know naman na sinabi rin po ni Senator Alan Peter Cayetano yesterday na itutuloy nila itong kanilang Blue Ribbon Committee hearing. So, what's going to happen now? At papatayin din po ba sila ng kuryente or wifi? Senator?
Actually, kung tutusin, kung gugustuhin po ni Acting Senate President Gatchalian, po pwede because wala naman pong sayang po sa kuryente. Di po ba magtipid? Bakit mo lalagyan ng ilaw, lalagyan mo ng aircon, ang plenary, kasi doon nagko-committee hearing ang Blue Ribbon. Paano mo lalagyan ng ilaw, kuryente? Magsasayang ka ng kuryente kung wala nga pong hearing. Di po ba? It's a wastage. Di po ba? So, dapat po patayin. Kung ako, dapat po patayin po yun. Yung pag-arrange na po, mga staff lang po nila yun according to my source, ang nag-arrange ng table. Pangalawa po, how can they conduct a hearing? Kung wala naman po miyembro ng Blue Ribbon Committee na papasok to record, to list down, to monitor, wala pong papasok dahil work from home. Sino po ang magmamonitor? Who will do the job of the broom staff nila? Diba, it makes them illegal yung kanilang magiging hearing. Sa totoo lang, Angela, it's just optics. It's for pure press release and optics to the media. Now, we're ready, we're here. Okay, the question is, how will you conduct a hearing if you don't have the right personnel, the secretariat, who is not there, who is not present? Who will record, who will do this and do that? Who will do the job of the broom?
Pero Senator, if they will proceed with the hearing, yung Blue Ribbon Committee hearing nila, yung version nila, hindi po ba yun kikilalanin ng Senado o aalisin sa records?
Paano i-record kung wala yung nagre-record? Nasa bahay po yung nagre-record. The only way po magre-record ay yung secretariat po. Sinabihan na po, pati yung mga nagbi-video live pa para sa mga Facebook po, mga YouTube, wala rin po dahil naka-work from home. Sila po. And thereby, it will make it, bakit mo ilalagay sa record? It will be stricken off right away or hindi papasok sa record. Because, number one, who will place it on record kung wala po yung mga tao na magre-record noon?
Well,
Ganun lang
of
po
course,
kasimple yun.
But Senator, of course, ginamit po ninyong president kahapon yung Avellino, no, versus Cuenco na president. Pero on the other side of the fence, they are saying that this is a poor precedent for yesterday because, number one, it involved a walkout during a session already convened with a clear quorum, not a prior refusal to show up, which is sila po yun kahapon. Your thoughts on that po?
What are they talking about? They're talking about quorum. Is that
Opo,
what
oo. Kasi parang
they're
nung
driving
nangyari
at?
daw nung nangyari daw po yung Avellino versus Cuenco, at that time, there was already an ongoing session when they walked out. Pero ito, yung yesterday, wala naman daw po talagang session. So, meron daw po doon na refusal to show up from the side of sila Senator Alan Peter Cayetano.
Pero may quorum po kami. Di po ba? Paano niya explain na, di po ba, to get the majority of the House or of the Senate, you have to divide the members. Right now, Angela, there's only 22 of us because one of them is in hiding. Kahit anong gawin ho namin, hanapin namin, nagtatago. Ang taong nagtatago, hindi mo makita. Number 2, yung isa nakakulong under the jurisdiction of the BJMP. So, ang count mo dyan, 22 na lang ko kami na pwedeng pumasok. Di po ba? Alright. So, 22, according to all rules, divided by 2. So, thereby 11 plus 1 lagi. So, it's divided by 2 of the total number of senators plus 1. Doon mo makukuha yung majority. So, 12 po kami, di ba? 11 the other day. May ikang stalemate. Ang problema nga po, dumating po si Senator Cheese. So, na-break po yung impasse.
Okay, and
Tapos,
sabi rin po go ahead. Go ahead po.
Let me just add, Angela. Baka nakakalimutan na po nila. Siguro I would like to ask Senator Cayetano, Senator Pia, Senator Loren Legarda to check the records later of the Senate journal entries. Total, nandun na po sila. They can request for the record because on May 21, 2008, 12 senators were only present but they declared a quorum. On that day, Senator Loren arrived late. Senator Cayetano arrived late. Pia Cayetano was on official business. Pero they were still counted, ma'am, kahit na late sila, part of the 12. February 11, 2009, after 1 year, present po si Lauren and Alan, present din po si Senadora Pia. 12 sila. It was declared there's a quorum. On September 29, 2010, 1 year later po, halos every year pala ito, present si Sen. Lauren, Sen. Alan, official business po si Senador Pia. And then, 2 years later, May 8, 2012, sabi po dito, present si Senator Lauren, official business si Alan Cayetano, present si Pia Cayetano. Nagdeklara po ang Senate President na may quorum. May 15, 2012, 12 lang din po sila, diniklara pong may quorum. May 5, 2015, diniklara pong 12 lang din sila, diniklarang may quorum. June 2, 2015, diniklara ring may quorum. So how is that? Why are they questioning what happened yesterday when they agreed back in those days, in those dates, na wherein they were present or one of them or two of them were present, they agreed that there's quorum.
Yeah, Senator, sorry to interrupt you there. Where are you right now? Because ngayon po, meron po kaming camera po sa Senado at nandoon na po ngayon si Senator Pia Cayetano, John Vic Remulla is also outside of the Senate premises, and Senator Robin Padilla. At pupunta po sila dito sa kanilang Blue Ribbon Committee hearing. Paano na po yan?
Then they can go. Ang tanong dyan, who will, where's the staff?
Ngayon po kasi lahat ng mga
Blue Ribbon
reporters, lahat po ng reporter and ay nandiyan na po sa session kung saan po ginaganap yung Blue Ribbon Committee po ninyo. At nandoon na po si Senator Robin Padilla. nakapasok na po
Alright.
sila sa loob. And we have an information that
ang-
Senator Peter Cayetano is also in the premises of the Senate. Yes po, go ahead.
All right. My question is, do they have the staff, the Blue Ribbon staff?
Oho.
Are the guests, the invited guests, are they coming?
Oo. And I remember,
How can
Senator
they have a committee hearing? How can they have a committee hearing kung wala pong staff na magre-record and all?
Oo.
How
Ang
can
sabi
they
po
have
ni...
a committee hearing kung wala silang mga invited guests?
Opo. Pero
Ano
ito
po
nga
ang
po
sabi?
ang sabi po ni Senator Win Gatchalian, hindi po papapasukin ng mga resource person kasi there's no hearing today. Pero right now, nakapasok na po sa loob ng Senado ang 18 Marines na nakaupo na po sila dito po sa session hall.
I don't know. Then we have to check our USAA. We have to check that. Yung aming security.
Kasi meron po kayong memo, di ba? Binigay na instruction
Okay.
po sa OSAA. Oo.
Exactly.
Oo. Pero kayo po, sa ngayon, nga kahit gawin po nila itong hearing na to, mag-conduct sila all day, this wouldn't be put on the record. Tama po ba?
Because yung BRC staff, wala po.
Oo. Kayo po ba ay may
Sila
planong
po yung-
pumunta ngayon sa Senate?
Nagmamonitor po ako. I'm just nearby.
And meron po ba kayong mga naiisip na po na pwedeng gawin to stop this hearing?
Well, I will have to consult po with the majority. Particularly our senior members po.
Alright, sige po. Siguro
Alright,
ganun na lang
thank
po
you po,
muna.
Miss Angela.
We'll get back to you on
Alright.
this and let us know po kung ano po yung magiging plano ng inyo pong majority dahil nga po dito sa nangyayari. And I think si former Congressman Mike Defensor is also already in the Senate premises, no? Alright, maraming salamat po sa inyong oras, Senator Erwin Tulfo. Now, more matters to discuss after this quick break. Keep it here on One News.
Good morning and welcome back. You're still watching Morning Matters here on One News.
Relationships with significant age gaps or differing cultural backgrounds are becoming more visible today. These relationships often involve partners in different life stages, which can shape priorities such as career plans, family decisions, and long-term goals, making communication essential for alignment. Differences in expectations and life experience may also influence how partners make decisions and address everyday conflicts. Couples may likewise face external judgment or cultural differences, requiring clear communication and agreed boundaries to manage outside perceptions and maintain understanding within the relationship.
All right, and joining us this morning is relationship expert Maribel Junicio to discuss the dynamics and challenges of age gaps and intercultural relationships. Good morning, Maribel. Thank you so much for joining us here on in the studio.
Thanks for inviting me, yes.
Okay, well, we have a lot to discuss today, but first, let's talk about relationships with large age gaps.
Okay.
Love, as we know, takes many forms, right? But nowadays, we see relationships evolving. They're becoming more diverse, more open. When it comes to relationships with large age difference, what should people understand about them, especially in terms of power dynamics, compatibility, and maturity?
Yeah, maturity is the most important one. And the number may not make a difference, especially if they have the shared values.
Okay.
And so if at least they are about 28, 30 years old, then there's hope. But if that's below that age, 25, 20, with somebody who's 30, it becomes difficult because the emotional maturity of the younger one can really pose a struggle. But if you're about, 35, 40, and there's a 60, you're emotionally mature, both of you, and both of you have shared values, you have a common dream, aspiration, then things can work out because you'll be able to communicate and level your expectations as well.
We've seen some May-December relationships.
Sure.
Some very much justify them. Some argue that, there are many, many factors to consider. But in terms of couples with large age gaps, how do they align daily life and long-term goals despite being in different life stages? How can they do this?
Well, first of all, you have to know yourself. What do I like in life? What am I expecting? And let's ask this other person, what are your goals and what are your aspirations in life? And let's take a look if we match here. Then that's number one to really take a look at. And that we will help each other. It's not because you're older than me that you know better. It has to still have that egalitarian, a certain equality part there. So you have to check also the older one. Are you here to rescue me, or are you here to, or do you have that partnership orientation? No? And that has to be tested over time. That's why we say 3 years boyfriend, girlfriend before you get married, to be able to test a number of, especially key values that you have that are important to you.
So that's interesting. So it's not so much about the age gap. So let's say you're talking about 10 years, 15 years, as long as you're both aligned with your values and your goals. So anything below 25 years old, parang you don't recommend.
Maturity.
Emotional maturity usually hits, our prefrontal cortex really develops after age 25. So,
For
that's why
both
the
men and women?
Yes, late 20s. And of course, it's not just that age. And let's look at what is the history in terms of financial responsibility and being a responsible person that can raise a family. And then the emotional maturity is a huge factor. So besides the values, are both of you mature enough to be able to take, especially the older one will not feel slighted if the younger one is going to suggest this thing or plan out this thing. There's no such thing as I'm older than you and therefore you have to follow me, because that will pose a problem, because the younger one will eventually catch up. And if you're not ready for that, then it becomes a huge source of conflict.
Can we talk about the power dynamics in a May-December relationship?
Yeah.
Because often enough, again, with the emotional maturity, the younger one tends to believe that the older one knows
More.
better. Yes, knows more.
Yeah, but well, if that is the orientation of the younger one, but we don't know if that's going to change, because life and the only thing we can really expect in life is change. So this younger one has to be, cannot really inform, because when they're in love, there's not much, but really to let them know that things can change and we can assess precisely their maturity to be able to handle the change. Or if for the older guy to be able to understand and how to help the younger one that, things have changed and that's okay. Then that will be of big help. But a minimum of emotional maturity, because one is immature, then it's really a huge problem for the relationship.
So Maribel, what would you say are some of the green flags that would show that a relationship with a large age difference could become successful and healthy? And what are some of the advice that you can also give people who are in this type of relationship?
The healthy ones, this is regardless of age already. The three key factors are the similar aspirations, the shared core values that have been tested over a span of 3 years between the two of you. And then the second one is the emotional maturity, that all our issues of the past, all of us are hurt. We have some emotional baggage.
Traumas.
Some people have more trauma and insecurity. Insecurity is a huge problem in a relationship if one is insecure. Jealousy will come in and all that stuff. So we normally focus on the family of origin and look at your personal history to take a look what are the potential problems that can come, each one will contribute to the relationship. And that's really regardless of age. Of course, the younger you are, there's a greater chance that you have more of that. But it's not also a guarantee for the older one not to, because there's some older ones, they don't want to look at their past or fix their emotional issues as
They're
well.
avoidant.
They avoid it. And the third one is true love. And we say true love is tested over time. So even if you're 58 and 35, they'll say, patanda na ako, I'm old enough, and we can get married after 6 months, 1 year. Oh my gosh. Then they realize, we say kasi the first year, there are 3 stages of love.
Okay.
The first year, is what we call the romantic stage.
Rainbows and
Or-
butterflies.
Rainbows.
Or the fake
Amazing.
news.
Fake news talaga.
Fake news. Yeah, even if you say no, I'm not going to, put my best foot forward. We do. It's the nature of love. Wait for the second year, the true person will come out. Okay? Especially if you bring your partner to different environments, your family and all that, let other people also meet and scrutinize to help you, that will be good. And the third year, if you still have the same, you see that you have the same aspirations, you can talk about things, you're mature, then that's decision-making year that more chances might be true love. That you're here because you really care for each other and
Yeah.
we're moving in the same direction. We can walk hand in hand with each other for forever. So, they have to follow those things, and that has really worked for a number.
All right, very quickly, can we also touch on cross-cultural relationships? How would you, what are the most common challenges?
Well, one is the language. I know one had an English-speaking and a Russian-speaking. Do they speak the same language? No. So they use the app to communicate.
To
So I don't know how
translate,
long that will last. No, but it's maybe cute in the beginning, a good start. No, so. But they say if you're speaking in your second language, there's still also a nuance to that. But of course, it's better if you have a common language.
Because communication is very important.
Yes, is very important. And the nuances of each culture, you have to know also.
Yeah.
Yes.
This one of thumbs up is positive in many countries, but it's negative in a number of countries. So you have to know what are the verbal cues or the nuances of each particular country. So you have to help each other out about that. No? And the Filipinos, diba, when the Filipina marries a foreigner, I've heard of many foreigners, gosh, I have to take care of her whole family. I said, well, the family orientation of the Filipinos sometimes can get too far.
Lots more to talk about. We wish we had more time. Thank
Sure.
you so much for joining us today and sharing your insights.
Yeah.
Relationship expert Maribel Jonicio.
Yeah.
More matters to discuss after this quick break. Keep it here on One News.
Okay lang.
Magandang umaga po sa ating lahat, lalong-lalo na po yung mga inimbita nating mga resource persons sa umagang ito. Ngunit nakikita ko lamang po yung matatapang at magigiting na mga ex-soldiers ng ating bansa. Yung iba pang mga katauhan na amin pong inimbita ay hindi ko po nakikita ngayon. Ang kaso po, wala tayong mga staff namin sa Blue Ribbon Committee. Tatanungin ko sana kung naipadala lahat. Natatandaan ko po kasi sa kauna-una ang listahan po namin ay pinaimbita namin ang former Speaker ng House of Representatives Martin Romualdez at yung dalawang katiwala niya sa kanyang bahay, yung mga executive assistants o personal assistants ni dating Congressman Saldico at inimitahan ko rin ang ombudsman o yung kanyang representative. Natatandaan ko pa rin po na naimbita ko rin ang secretary ng DPWH o ang kanyang representante sa umagang ito. Wala po sila. Ngayon, ang ibig sabihin nito ay mukhang ayaw nilang igalang ang patawag ng committee ito. Meron din po sana akong babasahing isang opening statement, ngunit nakita ko masyadong mahaba po ito. Ang sasabihin ko na lang, hindi ko po ulitin ang sinabi ng ating chairperson ng komite sapagkat totoo lahat ng kanyang sinabi. At lalong-lalo na hindi ko na po ulitin ang sinabi ng ating kagalang-galang na pinuno ng Senado, Senate President Alan Cayetano. Ang gusto ko na lamang pong bigyan ng emphasis sa sinabi po kanina ni Chairperson Pia, maging ako po ganun din ang damdamin ko. Hindi naman namin pinagpipilitan ang sarili namin na kami ang manguna sa Blue Ribbon Committee. Nagkataon po nung una ako po inahirang, dala po ng tungkulin, ay binalikat ko po yun. At sa aking pagkakaalam, ginanap ko po yung tungkulin ayon sa aking kakayahan at sa aking kaalaman. Kaya lang yun po ay hindi nagtagal sapagkat iba po yung nahirang na leader ng aming Senado at nagtalaga sila ng bagong chairman ng ating komite. Kaya pansamantala, hindi na po ako naging chairman, ngunit ako'y naging miyembro pa rin. Ang problema lang, nung sila na po ang humawak ng chairmanship ng Blue Ribbon Committee, kayo po ang nakakaalam at lahat po ng Pilipino na sumusubaybay sa pagdinig na ito, wala po silang ginawa para ituloy ang pagdinig. Sila lamang po ang may kaalaman ng dahilan kung bakit ayaw nilang ituloy. Ayaw nilang ituloy, gusto pa nilang pagtakpan ang mga taong utak at mastermind ng pinakakarumal-dumal na pagnanakaw ng salapi ng bayan sa kasaysayan ng Republika. Yung pong kasama naming 11, na nang 11 sa amin kahapon, wala mang isa sa kanila ang naglakas ng loob na magsabi, mga kasama, ituloy na natin ang pagdinig na ito. Naghihintay ang sambayan ng Pilipino. Hindi ba tayo nahihiya? Pera po nila ito. Ipaliwanag natin sinong kumuha, saan napunta, ano nang mangyayari ngayon. Meron po bang nagsalita sa kanila? Isa man sa kanila? Lalo na po yung madadaldal sa kanila. Wala po. On record, kayo pong mga participants sa media, nakaramihan po sa inyo ay bayaran. Sasabihin ko na sa inyo ito. Meron po bang nagsalita sa kanila? Kayo pong members ng media, tinanong niyo po ba sila kung bakit nagpakatahimik sila? Halos 10 buwang singkad, hindi sila kumibo. Nung kami po ang nagkaisa para manguna uli sa Senado, sa pangunguna na Senate President Alan Cayetano, hindi pa po kami nagtatagal. Gumawa na sila kaagad ng paraan para matigil kaagad ang pagdinig na ito. Iisa lang po ang layunin. Iisa lang po ang layunin nila. Pigilin talaga at ibaon na sa limot ang tungkol sa pangyayari ng flood control scandal. Wala na pong ibang isyong pinag-uusapan. Wala na po. Kailangan po mapagtakpan, makalimutan, akala nila malilimutan ng taong bayan ang nangyari na skandal sa kasaysayan ng ating bansa. Sino po makakalimot sa inyo? Ngayon po, nandito tayo ngayong umaga. Ang nagkusa lang na dumating dito ay yung mga taong merong pagmamahal sa kanilang bansa. Yung mga taong ang gusto nila malaman talaga kung sino dapat managot sa pangyayari. Yung pong wala ngayon, Para ko nang nakita. Basahin po ninyo ang isang tala sa banal na kasulatan. Proverbs 28:1. Alam niyo kung ano nakasulat doon? Ang taong makasalanan, ang taong masama, umiiwas, nagtatago kahit walang humahabol. Ngunit yung taong matuwid, umuungal parang leon. Ito po ngayon ang ating kasaysayan ngayon. Makikita ninyo ngayon ang larawan ng pagdinig na ito. Nandito lamang yung taong gustong magmalasakit sa ating mamamayan. Nakaharap sa atin ngayon. Yung pong wala, ayaw nilang matanong dito. Pagkakataon na po ninyo ngayon, kayong magigiting at matatapang na ex-soldiers ng ating bansa. Kami po, ako, lahat kami rito ay sumasaludo sa inyong katapangan. Ang inyo po sasabihin ngayon ay magiging record na ng kasaysayan ng Senado at kasaysayan na rin ng ating bansa. Hindi naman ang natiling parang naratibo lamang na hindi na pinapansin ng media. Alam ko po, binigyan nyo ng kopya ang opisina ng Ombudsman. Pero walang ginawa. Alam po ba ninyo na ang opisina ng Secretary ng DPWH ay nagbigay ng isang referral report sa ating Ombudsman noong Nobyembre pa, 2025. Ilang buwan nang nakararaan. Baka isang taon na, o mag-iisang taon na. 26 pages na referral report para gawan ng complaint ang former Speaker Martin Romualdez. Noong October 2026, o noong April 2026, meron na pong complaint affidavit na ginawa ang Ombudsman laban kay former Speaker Martin Romualdez. Bakit wala pa pong naisasampa sa Sandigan Bayan? Nauna pa po yung kasama namin. Bakit nila pinipilit na dakpin si Senator Bato? Para sa ganun, madiretso na sa dihig. Para maagnas na yung bilang namin. Yan lang naman po ang punto nila. Makuha nila uli ang liderato hindi sa paraan at proseso na itinatadhana ng aming mga tuntunin. Kung hindi, ang importante sa kanila, makuha nila ang liderato upang sa ganon maisagawa nila ang matagal na nilang layunin na talagang ilibing na lamang ang issue ng flood control. Wala na pong iba. Huwag na kayong mag-isip ng iba. Napakarami kasing tao ang involved dito sa flood control na ito. Ito ang multong ginawa nila at natatakot sila ngayon sa sarili nilang multo. Mga kababayan na nakikinig po sa pagdinig na ito, hindi po simpleng pagdinig ito, itong araw na ito. Ang pagdinig na ito will define us kung saan pupunta ang ating bansa mula ngayon. Kaya importante po ito. Kaya importante po ito. Ngayon, dahil wala po yung mga importanteng mga taong pinatawag natin na doon sana pasisimulan ng mga tanungan, kayo pong nandito ngayon ang tatanungin na lang. Pagkakataon na ninyo, marirecord na po ng formal ang sasabihin ninyo. Matatala ng formal. Mr. President, bago ako magsimula, meron ka bang gustong idagdag?
Well, it's not too late. The Office of the Ombudsman, DPWH, DOJ, marami kaming tanong. We need a impartial report, not a partial report. So sana pumunta sila. Mr. Chairman, dahil wala po ang ibang staff at ilang beses nung chairman ako ng Blue Ribbon ay hiningi ko sa kanila na i-administer yung oath. Maybe I can have the privilege now of returning the favor. Ako na mag-administer ng oath sa ating mga bisita.
Salamat po, Mr. President. Of course.
Good morning. You're still watching Morning Matters here on One News.
Now, senators under the Cayetano bloc has pushed through with their flood control probe, despite the recent power shift at the upper chamber. For the details, let's bring in Mobile Journal Merimon Reyes. Merimon. Okay, so paano ba nakapasok yung mga resource person when in fact sinabi ni Senator Win Gatchalian na hindi pa papasukin because there's no hearing today?
Actually, this good morning kanina, nung pumasok na dito sa loob, yung mga senador, plus itong 18 na ex-Marines, pati yung legal counsel na si Atty. Balico, even si former Congressman Mike Defensor nandito. Nagsalita ni Senator Pia Cayetano, supposedly huling humawak or huling may hawak ng Senate Blue Ribbon Committee at naging emotional siya at sinasabi na parang may struggle pa raw na makapasok, pero eto sila. And tayo mismo, hinabol natin itong mga resource person na napalibutan ng staff ng Cayetano-led na block, yung ilang mga personnel ng KASAA, at ipinasok sila dito sa loob ng session hall. Pero to note, sinabi kanina ni Senate President Pro Tempore, Senator Sherwin Gatchalian, na walang pagdinig. Kaya ang nakita natin kanina, i-reverse natin yung camera, dahil wala rin ibang mga staff, si Senator Alan Peter Cayetano ang nag-oath dito sa mga resource person. Well, usually, yung ilang mga staff din from the Secretariat at the Blue Ribbon, yung broom ang dapat na nandito sa paligid. Pero wala tayong ibang naghilap. Ang sinabi pa ng nila Senator Cayetano kanina, naniniwala sila na walang batayan, walang timbang yung ginawa kahapon, yung pagbibilang ng quorum at yung naging reorganization sa Senado. So sila pa rin ang may hawak ng Blue Ribbon, functioning pa rin daw si Cayetano, Senate President, and the Blue Ribbon Committee hearing will proceed today. So sinabi na ni Gatchalian, walang official hearing na magaganap ngayong araw.
Yes, Merimon, was there a resistance from the guards or the security detail there in the Senate because there was an order from Senator Win Gatchalian pero apparently hindi ito sinunod, no? So, can you tell us more about it?
Oo, actually, ang sinabi kanina ni Senator Gatchalian, meron daw procedure para sa mga guests, para sa mga bisita, kasi still, opisina pa rin daw naman ng mga senador itong Senado. Pero to clarify, yung supposed resource persons sa pinupush na Blue Ribbon Committee hearing ngayon, ang sabi ni Gatchalian kanina, hindi maaari pumasok sa session hall, pero hindi naman daw bawal yung kung magkakaroon ng consultations, outside committee hearings, ng ibang mga meetings, or pagkikita ng mga senador. Pero wala talagang dapat hearing na mangyayari ngayon eh. So, ang nakita kasi natin kanina, yung nag-escort kanila defensor sa Marines ay yung mga staff mismo ni Senator Cayetano, yung ilang mga personnel na nakipagsikuhan pa tayo kasi sinusubukan natin sila malapitan talaga at makuhanan ng panayam. And ang sinabi kanina ni Senator Alan Peter Cayetano nung bago magsimula yung pinaka-hearing, naniniwala talaga sila at hinahamon pa nga nila yung new majority ngayon na sumama raw sa pagdinig ng Blue Ribbon at kine-question nila na bakit daw sa mga lumipas na linggo, buwan, hindi raw ipinagpatuloy yung pagdinig ng Blue Ribbon. Kasi marami nang lumalabas daw ng mga testimonya, ako yan naman alegasyon na dapat isinasalang sa hearing. Ang nasabi ni Senator Gatchalian, kasi kanina dumating si SILG John Vic Rambulian na humingi personal as preemptive action lang daw si Gatchalian to ensure yung safety and security ng Senado para raw walang mishap na mangyayari tulad ng mga lumipas na linggo. Pero wala namang ibang sinabi kung may pag-i-escort out, kung meron naman daw kasi magiging protocol tungkol dyan, lalo na kung magsisilbing mga bisita itong resource person. Pero instead of seeing them na pumunta sa opisina, either sa Senate Lounge or sa mga opisina ng mga senador ng Cayetano block, nandito sila sa loob ng session hall.
Merimon, aside from the 18 ex-Marines, may iba pa bang resource persons na inaasahang a-attend dyan sa Blue Ribbon Committee hearing dahil kabilang din sa listahan ng mga inimbitahan ay si former Speaker Martin Romualdez.
Pauline, wala si former Speaker, House Speaker Romualdez dito. Ang yung nakalagay pa doon sa listahan, bukod sa Senator Balico, yung sa ex-Marines is representative from the DOJ, from the Office of the Ombudsman, from the DPWH. Pero so far, wala talaga. Ang nakikita lang natin dito ngayon, itong ex-Marines, si Attorney Balicon, ito ang Cayetano-led na mga senador. So ito mga nakapaligid dito ay mga kasama natin sa media, maging ibang mga staff pa. Pero ito talaga pinupush na nila na matituloy yung Blue Ribbon. Kaya medyo may parang pulling of, parang sabihin na natin yung hatakan na nangyayari dito. Sinasabi ni, on one end, they were actually trying to get in yung comment from Senator Tulfo and from Senator Gatchalian kung ano ang mangyayari. Kung ito na, kasi pinipilit nila, itong Cayetano-led block, sabi nila, ito ay according na sa schedule at wala naman daw naging organization na nangyari. Yan yung sinasabi ngayon ni Senator Marcoleta, yung sa quorum, labing lang kahapon, labi na sa isang court ruling na hindi ito, wala itong batayan, hindi raw ito tama at sila pa rin talaga ang majority, yung liderato ay nakagayatano pa rin at dapat na magpatuloy yung mga committee hearings kasi bukod dito sa Blue Ribbon, ini-schedule din yung Cayetano yung isa pang hearing naman tungkol sa pag-iimbestiga sa naging shooting incident dito sa Senado. And yung huling naging advisory or notice na nilabas sa Senator Cayetano, Alan Peter Cayetano kagabi, kasama rin daw yun lahat magpo-proceed ng mga committee hearing. Pero ang sabi nga ni Gatchalian, walang official hearing. Para sa araw na ito, walang Blue Ribbon committee hearing na dapat mangyari.
Marymon, may ilang mga miyembro ba ng new majority na nandyan sa Senado na pumasok today?
Ang nahagilap pa lang natin kanina talaga si Senator Gatchalian. Wala pa tayo nahagilap. Si Senator Lauren Garda, actually nakita natin kanina from the new minority na siya, pero wala siya dito sa loob ng question hall eh. Even sila, yun, wala pa yung iba dito. So, hindi rin kasi tayo makalapit pa sa 3rd, 4th, 5th, and 6th floor kasi mahigpit pa ngayon. Kaya hindi rin natin sila masilip. And pagka sa Senado kasi wala namang time in, time out ng mga senador. So, maaari as early as 7 or 6, pwedeng nandyan sila. Or kapag kunwari may session, 3 o'clock, pwedeng during that time sila papasok. So, pwede rin naman later on. Kaya hindi rin natin yung kapag. And speaking, ito, dumating na si Senator Lauren Garda sa press conference. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Si Senator Pia Cayetano. And ang alam din natin kasi may isa pang naka-schedule na pagdilig ang Senate Committee on Ways and Means ni Senator Pia Cayetano, 11 a.m. yun. Ang nakalagay sa website ng Senate, canceled yung Blue Ribbon Committee hearing ngayon, pero yung Ways and Means Committee, pang nakalagay pa siya sa schedule, kaya wala katabi ni Senator Marcoleta, si Senator Pia. Dapat katabi ni Senator Alan, si Senator Pia Cayetano.
So in short, Marymon, hindi full force ang new minority dyan. Sino yung mga wala? Nandyan din ba yung mga Villar siblings?
Wala sila eh. Yun yung isa sa ilang sinaabangan natin. Kasi yung paghahamon ng netong mga senador, lahat daw, yung majority o yung Senator Soto, yung Pangilinan Bam, Isa, lahat, pumunta raw dito. So, kasi ang gusto nilang mangyari dito ay hindi lang daw partial na committee report ang makukuha, partial daw na informasyon, kundi impartial to quote Senator Alan Peter Cayetano. Kaya ang inaasahan nila lahat ng, actually hindi pa nagkakaroon ng power shift o yung reorganization kahapon, ang sinasabi ni Senator Alan is lahat daw ng mga senador maghanda, iniimbitahan, nag-send sila ng notices sila Senator Pia, and inaasahan nga nila lahat ay dadalo. Pero dahil nagkaroon ng power shift, at si Senator Erwin Tulfo ang hawak, walang hearing ngayon. Next week siya, aayusin daw lahat-lahat from the resource funds, yung order of business din nila, and yung iba pang mga kakailanganin pagdating sa logistics.
Marymon, since yun na nga ang sinabi ng new majority na sa Monday na dapat yung Blue Ribbon hearing, but there is one going on right now, will this particular Blue Ribbon hearing appear in official Senate records?
Ang sabi ni Senator Gatchalian tungkol kakausapin niya rin daw muna si Senate Secretary at Attorney Dave Bantu. Kasi since hindi ito official committee hearing, hindi siya maaaring ipasok sa official records ng Blue Ribbon, lalo na ng Blue Ribbon Committee dahil kung magkakaroon ba ng official committee hearing ang Blue Ribbon, yan ay sa pumupuan ni Senator Erwin Tulfo. And that will only take place next week unless magsasend ng advisory si Senator Tulfo na magkakaroon ng changes pa sa schedule or until further notice. Pero ito, dahil nga hinahanap din natin kung so far kasi wala pa tayong makitang staff ng room at saka ng Senate Secretariat. So, hindi pa ito maaaring pasok sa official records. Lalo na kung ilalab ito sa ilalim ng records ng Blue Ribbon.
Well, actually, I was able to talk to Senator Erwin Tulfo kanina and also Senator Drilon at ganyan din ang kanilang posisyon. This will not be put on record kasi hindi nga daw opisyal. Pero I was wondering right now if you were able to talk to some of the members of the faction of sila, Senator Alan Peter Cayetano, if they're going to seek Supreme Court regarding this, you know, yung ginawa ng paksyon no, nila ng new majority na sina Senator Win Gatchalian.
Angela, wala pang nababanggit specifically sa pagdudulog sa Supreme Court ang Cayetano-led block. Pero ang kini-question kasi nila ngayon is yung naging timbang nung ginagamit na basehan ng fourth ruling sa ginawang power shifting kahapon. And usually kapag dito sa ganitong mga usapan kasi schools of thought na ang pumapasok sa usapan, legal luminaries and such. And usually kapag hindi nagkakaroon ng agreements, lalo na kung legal ang pinag-uusapan, pwedeng pumasok talaga ang Supreme Court anytime. And remember, nung hindi pa nagkakaroon ng power shifting, ang sinabi na Senator Kiko Pangilinan, nung minority pa sila, i-exhaust daw nila lahat ng legal remedies available para lang ma-address yung tuloy-tuloy na absence ng majority block during that time at yung pagiging pagkatenga ng upper chamber. So, part nun, yung either pagpafile ng ethics complaints o kaya yung pagdudulog sa Supreme Court. So, hindi mawawala sa usapin na to kung sakali man yung pagdudulog sa Korte Suprema.
Alright, thank you so much, Mobile Journal, Merimon Reyes. And that wraps up today's episode of Morning Matters. I'm Angela Lagunsad Castro.
We hope we've given you just the right start to your morning. I'm Cheska Litan-Calao.
Let's make the day matter. I'm Pauline Verzosa.
Kapatid, we are One News.
All sides?
All the time. At this